Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. Yay. So we have a special guest today. I know in addition to our normal crew, Carrow Brown, who you all know, yay, and Savvy Writes Books. Savvy's actually playing a video game, so we may not even get a hello out of her for this second.
Hello, I'm here. I'm almost done. Sorry.
No, you're good. And of course, Robert will be here at any time. But we have with us today a super awesome special guest. I know you guys are going to be super psyched about this. We have Joe Clifford with us here today. And Joe is like a really good friend of mine I've known for a long time. But something incredible happened to Joe yesterday, and that was that the International Thriller Writers announced all of the nominees for their Thriller Awards, and Joe Clifford is on the hardcover list.
Yay! That's so awesome.
It really is. So Rag and Bone is phenomenal. It's actually one in a series, the J. Porter series, which I totally love. But this is like a huge deal, right? Because you are in this category with David Baldacci and Blake Crouch, right?
Yeah.
No pressure. And then, oh my gosh, that book, what Mike was saying, oh my God, he's in with that book everybody's talking about this year.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever saw Tropic Thunder. Tropic Thunder, the movie. It was Ben Stiller and Robert Downey Jr. But they do a bunch of parody movies at the beginning of the film, and they show the Robert Downey Jr. character is Kirk Lazarus, who's got 17 Academy Awards, and he's been nominated for this and that, and his co-star is Tobey Maguire, who is MTV's Best Kiss nominee. I feel a little bit like Tobey Maguire in that.
Oh, you're the Best Kiss nominee.
I mean, those guys are it's just insane.
I don't know that that's true, because you have been nominated and won a crap ton of other awards. So I didn't be like, oh, it's my first time ever. It's not. This is a huge award. I mean, this is the Academy Awards for thriller writers. But you have been nominated for and won a bunch of other awards, right? Anthony, 83 times.
Nominations. That's kind of the Susan Lucci of Anthony's. I've been nominated, I think 8 times. No, I think I got four nominations for Anthony's, but I've never won.
So you're not exactly Tobey Maguire. I'll have to show you guys this cover. Let me see if I can do a little screen share here. I think we all know that I can't. Let's try it anyway, though. Here we go. Look, there it is. What a beautiful cover. So Rag and Bone is a story about tell us about this series. What is it, number 5 or number 6 in the series?
It's the 5th and final of the Porter series. The books, quick recap would be about my brother, about my father, loosely based on my dad used to work for the Manafort family. You know, the Manaforts, the Manaforts, the guy that went to jail, and there were 2 brothers. One was in politics, one was in construction. My father worked for the guy in construction, and they knowingly sent him out to a contaminated job site because it was cheaper to pay the wrongful death suit than it was to clean up the site. So that's what I use as the basis for, the plot. But at the heart of the story, it's funny. It's my brother Jason, who I based the J. Porter character on. It's his birthday today. I just was wishing me a happy birthday. But he was a handyman up in the mountains in New Hampshire, and the stories he would tell me just that kind of super small town, and he's they call him Rag and Bone Man. They basically go into houses after people died, and they kind of scavenge and try to find stuff, maybe something. So you got this really cold, this brutal, unforgiving climate. Everything's just ice and hard, and you can't, get anywhere. You've got the mountain itself that's sort of surrounding it's also, this is goldfish, encapsulating you, keeping you trapped. And then you've got just the definition of picking through the garbage to try to find something worthwhile. And all those appeal to me. Although looking back, it might have been depressing, sort of. Sort of depressing. But I like that. I mean, I'm a Springsteen guy. I was born on the East Coast. The heroes, the guys who, what's the line, the Springsteen line that always kills me? Some guys just give up living. Some guys give up living and start dying little by little, piece by piece. It's just a heartbreaking idea that you still get up when you don't want to. You still go through and you work these jobs and you stay alive when it's been a hard road. So that's basically what the books are about. And it's a man.
So one thing that I love about them, you're a beautiful writer. Like they're incredibly well written. I often read your books, and there are lines in there where I think I wish I had written that line. Like a lot, I think that when I'm writing. Your writing is so beautiful, which is kind of funny to me because I always think of you as being sort of a badass. You've got all these tattoos and you're like a hard kind of guy in some ways. But the writing is so, it's just incredible. All right, so
what are you saying about tattoos? What are you saying about tattoos, Lisa?
No, I'm just saying like, he has this like rough edge about him. Joe has like a super interesting story. He is like, okay, so he's a former heroin addict and now he's a best-selling author. Fascinating story arc. Just a human story arc. Fascinating. And so, right? You're a character in yourself. I guess we all are. So before we go, look who joined us. Robert Jones, story detective.
Hey,
I'm back too. Sorry.
No, Savvy's back too. So we have a bunch of people who want to say hi. So I'm going to put those up on the screen, and then we will talk some more about the book, the award, which is so freaking awesome, and in particular about your tips for suspense, because you are an editor. You have written like 10 books now? How many?
I think 12 out, and I have another one in June and then another one in September. So,
okay, and you taught a class on mystery writing, so you are a guy who needs to know who knows how to get this stuff done. So, all right, here we go. Everybody's going to say hi. The horror geek, that's Mike. Mike and Joe are sort of like twins, kind of in some ways. He says, "I know who the mystery guest is, but I'm not telling." We all know now, honey. All right. And he says, "It's also not me." True. All right. Devin says, hey. Nihilist Geek says hello. Thanks for being here today. Horror Geek says hello to my fellow geek. Jamie says hi. Hi, Jamie. We're so glad you made it today. Joe Ninja Hen. She's one of our regular. Actually, we have a lot of regulars. Joan says hi. Adega Outlaw. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. If you guys have questions for Joe, I can personally make him answer. So this is a class. Okay, so everybody's saying DAL CECIL RUNO. Yay. She says congratulations. Congratulations, Joe. Mary's here. Hey, Mary. So great to have you here. Sarah's here. Woohoo. Look at all these people. We're all super excited for you. This is like such a big deal, too. I mean, that's a major, major award.
Yeah, it came out of the blue. I mean, you sit around as a writer waiting for, my friend Tom Pitts says, waiting for good news from the email man, and you're looking every day you're waiting for something. And the one day I woke up where I wasn't looking for anything, so there's some good news, So no, it was
right?
a very pleasant surprise. Yes,
that's true for all of publishing, I think, right? Isn't all of our lives and careers are these sort of incremental wins that arrive via email.
Yeah,
they should come with flowers, I think.
Well, and the thing is, there's such an immediacy with what we do. You send something off, you send the submission off, or your agent sends it off, and you're like, "Where's the response?" It's been 7 minutes, but their timeline is totally different. They live in it's been 7 months, and now maybe they'll think about looking at it. So the relationship is off. So you have this very skewed perspective on how time is working when you're publishing.
True, definitely true. Joanne Ninja Hen is one of our regulars, and she does these like super cool animated covers. And she says, your cover, so easy to animate with fire and smoke. It screams animate me. All right. Tina says, yay.
Hi, Tina.
Yay. We're so glad you made it. Tina, not all personal information. No, I hope you don't mind strangers knowing. He doesn't mind.
I wrote a book about it, so.
You're good. Okay, so this is the other thing I think that people don't really realize is like, so we have a mix of writers in our group here. So we have some authors, we have some indie authors, some traditionally published authors. We have some people who are aspiring writers. We have a big group of people that span sort of a lot of levels of different experience. But I think one of the things that you get that you're really surprised about at first, and that you are you don't even realize later, is how good you get at like talking about super personal stuff in front of large crowds of people. Did it feel to you like the first time you did, or first couple times you did an interview, like they were asking you these incredibly personal questions, and now you say things that you just that other people would blush? Like I just said, okay, he's a former heroin addict turned best-selling and award-winning author. But I know this does not bother you because it's literally in your bio, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's in my bio, it's on my page, and no matter what I write, no matter how many books I write or get past that first book, Junkie Love is the one that people seem to gravitate toward because it's a true story, and there's, you know, life and death, you know, were at stake, and unfortunately I lived, and others didn't. So yeah, spoiler alert, I make it to the end so far. Yeah, no, I don't mind. I think one of the things we do as writers, you know, you kind of go big or go home. You rather tell the whole story, you don't bother telling any of it, which makes us a joy at parties. You know, because how you're doing, you tell them how you're doing. You know, it's you know, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. Oh, they ask you how you're doing, you tell them how you're doing, because you know we tend to overshare. That's what we do. You know, the open book. We are an open book. That's
I'm the latter. Like people ask how I'm doing, I'm like, I'm fine. It's like, well, how fine are you? It's like, I'm fine.
That's true. You put a lot of it on the page. Although I will say that you do share, like you share a lot of stuff with a smaller group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The trust circle. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there is a certain point where you just hit like some critical mass where I mean, and obviously we all have things we still don't share, right? But I think at some point you share a lot more stuff than you ever intended to at the very beginning. So, before, like, if you guys have questions for Joe, feel free to ask them in the comments, and we will put them up, and we'll see what he has to say. I did want to talk about suspense, because you are like really, really great at writing suspense, and we actually have something like super cool going on today, which is something that we call word stock, which was actually created right here in this live stream by Eva Writes Books, right? She's the person who came up with this name. But this idea that story detective Robert Jones, right here, was that we do this like Authortube seminar series where basically we have a bunch of different authors tackle the same topic on a single day. And we're doing it like once a month. And today is the day when you have a bunch of really great writers uploading videos all day long on the topic of writing suspense. And on Sunday, we're doing tension, which is, you know, they go right together, but they're very different. And so you're great at writing suspense, just from having read or not all of your books. I think I probably read like 9 out of the 12.
It's pretty,
right? I read most. Well, I read Junkie Love. I read all of J. Porter, and I read The Standalone.
The one that got away.
The one that got away. Yeah. So yeah. So you're great at it. Do you have tips? Since today is our official suspense day, Do you have good tips on writing suspense?
I grew up watching soap operas with my grandmother.
Me too. I love watching soap operas with my grandma. That's an underrated pastime. Sorry.
we did a panel once that Aaron Mitchell set it up. Did this panel on soap opera and noir. You'd be surprised how many. Reed Farrell Coleman was up there. All these guys writing tough detective fiction, and they're all up there talking about their love of soap operas. But what soap operas did especially well was the cliffhanger every Friday, right? Like every Friday they'd end with some scene, so you'd have to wait, see what happens with Monday. And of course, all suspense writers do it as well. Gillian Flynn's Gone Girl is the masterclass in that, where you have Amy and Nick's point of view, and you'd read Nick's point of view, and it was so good where he ended. You're like, I'm going to skip Amy's, but you're like, no, I got to read Amy's because I'll read in order. And then you get to Amy's end, and you're like, I got to skip Nick's. Because Amy's is through the whole book, and that's what made it so amazing. So yeah, you want somebody to stay up too late. You want them to stay up later than they intended. You want them to be late for work. You want them to be groggy in the morning because they can't go to sleep, so they have to find out what happens. Mary Kubica is another one who is just amazing. I think she's the best, just consistently the best. She's written so many books, and everyone is, you can't stop. You pick them up, and there it is at 3:30 in the morning. You're like, I got to go to sleep, but you can't because you got to find out what happens.
Yeah. All right, Robert, Carrow, Savvy, do you guys have questions for Joe?
No, because I didn't know that this was happening, so I didn't press anything.
Yeah, I didn't either. I might have missed something, but no, I'm excited that Joe's here. If I think of any questions along the way, I'll definitely ask you.
I put it in the Facebook group.
I never know what's going to happen. It's like a box of chocolate.
We already talked about our dogs. I feel like we've done as much as needs to be done. I'll get Lucky down here. He's fantastic.
I think they're all sort of used to the fact that I will often come up with an idea like half an hour before the stream starts and go,
no, that's generous.
We're going to double our word count.
That's generous. I like 5-minute warnings usually all I get.
Okay, yeah, that happens too. Or they see it for the first time, like on the thing. So, so they're used to surprise. I like to keep them on their toes, I like to keep them on their toes.
You do keep us on our toes. That's true.
Exactly.
Foster suspense.
Yeah, exactly. Right? There you go. That's what I like to do. You're like, what the hell is Lisa going to talk about today and make us do today? All right, DAL Cecil Runo says, it's Words Dog. Yay, we're excited. Joanne Ninja Hen loves watching soaps with her grandma too, right? I love that. And I think it's funny that you say that because those writers really are masters. And the great thing is about soap operas is they cover like so many sort of different kinds of storylines, different genres of storylines. You have mysteries, you have romance, you have scandals, you have all sort of different things. And I think that thank you. That's really sweet. And I think that it's funny that that's the kind of thing that you have all these like hard-boiled mystery writers who sort of came up on soap operas. I think that's cool.
I'll tell you something else they did, soap operas that mystery writers that do well. The ones that do it well are rewarded well is they put the love story up front. No matter how tough you are, no matter how hard-boiled you are, having that love story there and not hiding it and not running away from it or being ashamed of it because
right.
You want a love story. Even the ones who say they don't, you want the love story. And there's that whole thing like the love interest appears by this page and that sort of page when you're talking about dissecting a bestseller. But yeah, having the cliffhanger and a love story that can sort of hit that part of your heart that's still working before it was broken 1,000 times. No, I mean, I'm working on a story now about when I was 15 years old and the first girl I really fell in love with, Ann Hodgson, and it's about it's gonna be a true crime story about her and her sister's disappearance. They never really disappeared. I'm making it up, but I'm treating it as a true crime story. But I'm revisiting all these times when I was 12, 13, 14. You still remember that first love nothing's ever the same. Like the way you feel, you can't breathe and you think you're gonna die, and that intensity, and to carry that over and make that on the page, translate it to the page, can resonate with the readers because we've all been there. We've all had that feeling.
Right.
Establish connection.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So does anybody have any questions before we go? So one of the things that we do on this, actually our main sort of reason for being, is that we do writing sprints, which you are welcome to participate in, but I told you that you were only going to have to be here for 15 or 20 minutes. So it's up to you if you can stay. I know you have a full and busy life, and you probably have dozens of flower deliveries to accept this morning. So
I think a good idea that we could do, because we do have a lot of like new and aspiring writers in the chat, and I'm sure that they have questions about how to work thriller aspects into their novels. So I would say maybe for this sprint, let them ask some questions, and then when we come back, let Joe answer them.
That's a fantastic idea. That's a really fantastic idea. This is why we keep Carrow around. She is the brains of the operation.
It's my job.
That is it. All right, so I'm going to start with our little 5-minute warm-up sprint, and I was going to do a 15, but
before we go, I wanted to add that my grandmother, who also watched soap operas when I was growing up, was a portrait of suspense. She would pull her chair close to the TV, as close as she could get, and then lean in like she had to be a part of it all.
Oh, I love that. Oh my God, that's hilarious. That is amazing. Go ahead. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I thought I interrupted you. I love that story. That's amazing. All right, here we go.
It looked like she was feeling it.
That is totally fantastic. All right, I need to get rid of this, and I need to add a new thing to the screen. Hold on 1 second. This is me trying to do it right in the middle. Okay, here we go. So we're going to do a 5-minute warm-up sprint. We're going to get started with that. And then when we come back, if you have questions for Joe, be sure to ask him in the comments. You can actually do it during the sprint if you want to, and we'll see what we can get him to answer. He doesn't mind chatting. He'll do it for us. All right, everybody, here we go. We're going to get started with 5 minutes. Starting now. Hold on. right, everybody, we're back. I'm going to unmute everybody and get rid of that live stream. All right, so we're back from our 5-minute warm-up sprint. If you guys are just jumping in here, like Marcella says, oh, a new thing. You are lucky today, Jeannie. So today our special guest is Joe Clifford, who is the author of the J. Porter series, and he just found out yesterday that he was nominated for the International Thriller Writers Thriller Award for Best Hardcover Thriller, which is awesome because he's in really good company, right? It's our boy Joe with David Baldacci. We've got Blake Crouch, and there are some. Who are the other nominees? Do you remember?
Rachel Howell, and there's 6 of us.
Who cares about those?
Oh, it's great. Rachel Hall, Adrian McKinty, who did The Chain, which was
right. That was a big book this year.
Very big book.
Yeah.
And Denise Minna.
Awesome. All right, we're all going to be keeping our fingers crossed for you the whole time. All right. So we have some questions. Carrow, as always, starting the ball rolling. Thank you, Carrow. And you guys, you have a couple more minutes to write. And I see some good questions coming in. All right, so Carrow's question, does writing thrillers ruin other thriller books for you?
Sorry, it's my sister. Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It does. And I'm going to answer that question. I'll just tell my sister because she will call a few times. It does because here's the trade-off you make when you decide to do this stuff for a living, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trade the magic for the mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
And before you start doing it, you can read a book and you can be swept away and you have no idea how it happened and it's wonderful. Once you start doing it for a living, you're now on the other side. You are the architect. You are taking all the tricks and the secrets, and everything you read is to steal. One of the big things I learned when I was in grad school, I remember from Lynn Barrett, who was my thesis advisor, was how shocked she'd be when she'd go to conferences and panels and explain that the mystery writers, we know the ending, and before we get there, people were always shocked. They were like, "What? That's not fair. That's cheating," because they want to believe that the detective, like the reader, is discovering everything as it goes along, and they're solving it. That's not how it works. We work with artifice. That's what we do. When they say contrivance, what they mean is you've done a bad job of hiding the strings, but we contrive. That's what we do. Mm-hmm. So it's really hard after you begin making your living doing that to read anything, to watch anything.
Yeah.
Okay, there's that guy. And it's, once in a while they'll pull it off. Well, I'll be, Girl on the Train, and Gone Girl were the 2 books that I really caught me by surprise. But for the most part, I'm generally, caught me by surprise that I got sucked into I still was figuring stuff out. But yeah, now I read to steal. I steal, and if you do it well, you don't know, stealing from.
Yeah,
don't plagiarize.
Yeah.
No, plagiarizing and stealing are completely different things.
I know.
Yeah. I only ask because anytime I go and I watch a movie or I read a book with my mom and I, my mom's British, I'm American. We live very far apart, but we try to do things together and reading like little books together. And so now and then we'll be like, "Where are you?" It's like we're on this page, and that guy's the killer. And she's like, "No, he's not. He's a very nice gentleman." And blah blah blah. I was like, "No, he's the murdering mofo. He's killing everyone." And she's like, "No."
That's good. I think that's a really good answer to that question. Really good answer. Dana also has a good question. Dana says, Joe, what is your writing origin story? Did you go to college to be a writer? How old were you when you published your first novel? How long did it take you from start to finish? Is it still available in print?
It is. My first book is called Junkie Love. It took me 10 years to write. It's the story of my heroin addiction, getting off the streets, and the women I loved, and the jails, and all the fun stuff that goes along with being a homeless junkie. It took me 10 years to write, and the last book I wrote, Rag and Bone, that was just nominated, took me 21 days. 21 days to write a draft. All that shows is that, you know, after you begin to learn a craft, it really becomes a job. I mean, it then takes you another, 6-8 months to make it not suck, because the first draft is always horrible. You know, people are alive on page 10, they're dead on 15, they're back again on 24, names change. But getting to beginning to middle to end, the process is so much faster the longer you go, because you just understand. Like anything else, you become better at it. But I did not go to college. I did go to college, and then I dropped out of college, and I went west to be a rock and roll star. And it was, I grew up a very strict evangelical, born again. Never touched any drugs, never touched any beer, never didn't say the F word. Can we say that on here?
Yeah, it's YouTube, so yeah.
I'm doing really, like, don't fucking swear. Then I went west, and within a year of drinking my first beer, I was hooked on heroin and meth. 0 to 60, and then I spent the next 10 years dealing with that. But all my heroes were junkies. All my heroes, I wanted to be, Bill Burroughs, and I wanted to be Lou Reed, and I wanted to be these guys. And yeah, there's a certain kind of person who looks at that and goes, yeah, that's just fucking stupid. And there's somebody else who goes, wow, that seems like something that would work out well for me. But I wasn't a happy guy. I was a mess. I was, I have 2 little kids now. I have Holden and Jackson Kerouac, named obviously after the people you think they're named after. And you're watching them, and you're watching their behaviors, and you're watching little versions of you, and it's so infuriating. And I wish my mom were alive to call up and say, like, I'm so sorry. Just, the little one was sick, and he won't take the medicine, like, no matter what you do. I mean, I think I got to offer him like $100 and a brand new Kindle, and like nothing. He doesn't move, and he's just stubborn as I was. And when I look back on what my problem was, that's what it was. I was just headstrong, and you couldn't tell me anything, and I was going to beat my head against the wall longer than you. And it wasn't until the world really kicked the shit out of me, and I was living without shoes, eating out of dumpsters, just totally humiliated, that I learned some humility. And then I, at that point, I was like, what am I going to do? I don't really, know anything besides art. Rock and roll wasn't panning out, so I went back to school for writing, and I had a story to tell.
And you ended up getting your MFA, right?
Yeah, then I got my MFA down at Florida International.
Awesome. All right, we have more questions. Here we go. Let's see. Mary Wimbley says, I have a totally off-the-wall question.
There we go. What doesn't kill you?
What doesn't kill you makes you
weird at parties.
Weird at parties. There you go, Mary. All right. Fantastic. So we have a couple people who are reporting their word counts, because generally speaking, we sprint during this time, which means you write as fast as you can. Nihilist Geek says he has 167 words. Jennifer has 67 words, trying to figure out where my main character is going next. Mary said during that sprint, I just put my hair up in a ponytail and come up with my question. Good enough. L.R. Rutherford, hi, sorry I missed the beginning. I slept in today. We are just about at the end of our chat with Joe Clifford, who is the author of 12 different books, many of which are in the J. Porter series. The 5th and final book in that series was just nominated for the International Thriller Writers Hardcover Thriller Award, which is like, huge, amazing deal. And Joe, if you get it in quick, Joe is answering questions about thrillers, writing, suspense, being an author, etc. All right, story detective. Yay! Our own Robert says, what are some tips from your perspective that shows the interior emotion of the character where suspense lives and builds psychologically?
I have
Robert with the simple questions, right?
I know. Step it up, Robert.
It's a hard question to answer in 30 seconds, and I feel like I'm sucking up everybody's time. To have the outside trauma reflect the inner turmoil is one of the trickier things you do in writing this stuff. The obvious cliche where you have the rain, storm, and the guy's going through a hard time. But I mean, really, it's all a variation of that. But you want to do it in a way that doesn't make it seem so heavy-handed. So I always have the character arc being different than the external arc. There's a great movie with Clint Eastwood. It was maybe I might call it True Crime. It's a while ago, but he was a character in the movie. Clint Eastwood was a fantastic detective. Like, he could solve all these crimes, but his personal life was a mess. It was like 3 divorces, and he kept having affairs, and it's a really great study to see how we separate those two things, and how detectives can separate those two things, and how whether it's a professional investigator or an amateur investigator, those two worlds can exist, both separately, and they're symbiotic, obviously, because they're one and the same. But that delineation is a fine line to walk, and it's fascinating. It's one of the more fun things I think you do as a writer is navigate that dilemma.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so Dana says, that is a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing. I think that was your previous up and down story. Mary says, love it. Does anybody else have any questions for Joe before we wrap him up? All right. So I have a question for you. It's one of my favorite questions to ask writers, because I think it says so much about who they are, and it's a really simple question. Are you a plotter or a pantser?
I am I'm a pantser.
Yeah.
I started to do the not literally, because as you know, I don't like wearing pants. I'm not wearing pants now. I have no problem admitting that. I became a writer to wear pants. This is why I entered this profession. This is what I use.
Yes.
But no, there's been a couple books where I've done outlines for them, and in the end, I think those books ended up being stronger plotted, but they were more boring to write. Because I think if there's no surprise for the writer, there's no surprise for the reader. All those, even the books that I outlined, it wasn't until I got to the parts where I didn't know what was going to happen where I began to be excited about writing it. Otherwise, you kind of felt like you're coloring by numbers, painting, filling in block, whatever you want to describe it. So yeah, I like to be surprised I like to not know what's going to happen, but at the same time, you have to know. There's that great quote by not Willa Cather, E.L. Doctorow, in Anne Lamont's Bird by Bird, where he talks about writing a book is a lot like driving a car across country at night, where you only need to see as far as your headlights to make the entire journey. And I like to look at writing that way. As long as I know the next scene, the next couple scenes, that's how I like to go. Not see too far into the future, but enough so I can not be staring at a blank page.
That's interesting. All right, so L.R. Rutherford says, do you intentionally inject suspense into your stories, or is it something that comes subconsciously?
I think it's intentional. You have to. One of the things I think writers we like to do is we like to write a lot about the internal. We tend to be internal people, so writing about our feelings and thoughts, and just our takes and perspective on this. We find that interesting because it's us, and we tend to be a little more internally focused. But people don't read for that. They read to be have the pages turned. They read for there's the best suspense writers. Guys like James Patterson, Dan Brown. They're not the prettiest of writers, but man, they get you to turn the page because the story. It's the story. So I think keeping that paramount is what makes a successful suspense novel. Did that answer? I think.
It's a great
Yes,
answer.
definitely. It is a great answer. All right, Nihilist Geek says, so Joe is a non-pantser.
I am both philosophically and.
Oh my gosh. All right. You have been phenomenal. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, here, hold on. CO Savvy says, Lisa missed my comment officially. Oh, I'll have to go back and find it. So every week, CO Savvy comes up with a new combination of all of our names, and she added you in this week. Right? I'll have to go back and find it. All right. So here's your question. As you reread your stories to revise and edit, are you creeped out by your own stories? That's interesting.
Fuck yeah. I will go back and I mean, the one that will always get me is going back to reading Junkie Love, because I'm not. I mean, I belong to a country club. I'm a golfer, right? Like I know you wouldn't think it, but like I'm big into golf. And going back when I have to do readings for Junkie Love, and there's, not to to pitch the book, but if anybody does read the book and you get through chapter 11 without just cringing, I'll send you some money.
Or a prize or something.
No, it's I read that stuff and it's just not me. It's not who I am now. I mean, I drive a minivan. I have a toy poodle. I don't, but that book, especially when I'm reading excerpts about the stuff I did, I'm like, gee, like I'm sure that was me. I'm pretty sure it was me. I still have that scar, but yeah, no, I get very creeped out. And one of the weird things about being a crime thriller mystery writer, Gillian Flynn had this great bit where she said when she was writing Gone Girl, she had to leave a note to herself, leave the darkness upstairs, because she was coming down in her onto her husband. And when I write the books and write these characters, especially Jay Porter books,
right,
begin to, there's sort of this method writing, just like method acting, where you begin to incorporate and behaving. More than once, my wife has said to me, "Stop acting like Jay Porter." I haven't read Jay Porter books. He's not the nicest guy, but you do. I think you become so. You are your work, and I don't think you can get away from that.
I think that's true. All right, we have one more question. Dana asks, "Do you enjoy editing?"
I enjoy editing more than I enjoy writing.
Wow.
I really, really do. I mean, editing my own work. Writing a first draft to me, I would honestly rather go to the dentist. Writing a first draft to me is painful. The words come out and they're stupid. It's like he walked down the street and he stopped and he breathed heavily. Like it's just fucking awful. And you're writing it and you're like, my God, I'm a fraud. How am I going to finish a book like this? I'm terrible. And then you finish the book and somehow it's done and it's still a big pile of shit. But then you go back and you begin fixing the things and you tie this together and you weave this in seamlessly. Now you get a pretty sentence and it starts to take shape. And it's I think it's a lot like sculpting, right? Like your first draft, you're sort of, that's what was a Michelangelo or one of those really talented guys said. Like the sculpture's already inside the stone. I just have to get rid of all the other parts. And I think it's in the story and just sort of in reverse. So you write this crap and then now you have to like chip away the stuff that doesn't belong and enhance the things that do belong, and you make it pretty and you have to make it seem like, I think it was Neil Gaiman who said, writing is 2 stages, right? 1, you write a bunch of shit, and 2, you go back and make it seem like you meant it to sound good. And I think that's for everybody. So yeah, I like that second stage better than I do the first.
How much? Okay, so we have a couple. Dana says, "Me too." She also likes editing. Dahl says, "I hate editing because I don't know what to do. Once I learn, I might like it." I don't mind it, but I'm a plotter, so I tend to do more polishing. Although in this book that I'm doing right now, it's definitely a lot more editing for some reason. It didn't come together as well as they normally do. But how many drafts do you do? Because I've known you for a long time, and I know you rewrite a lot, but I don't know how much. How much do you rewrite?
I mean, I'm very fortunate that I get to do this for a living. So I write, I mean, this is my job, 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
I work weekends as well, and I work late at night when the kids and the wife go to bed, and I get up early. And this is what I do, especially now that we can't leave our houses. So I don't know how many specific, like a number, but I'm constantly writing and rewriting. I do know that one of the best tips I can give for this is you take a break. It's not my tip; it's Stephen King's tip.
What's Stephen King's tip by way of Joe Clifford? Bring it on.
Take a break, right? If you take a long enough break from the writing, you sort of forget what's there, and then you go back and read it. And when you get to the part where like you don't give a shit, cut it. Like, because you'll read your own stuff and like interesting, and all of a sudden it's just like you'll have like 3 pages of description that you don't. They may be well written, maybe you may have liked it, but if you can start reading that and like really not care too much, just cut that whole section and get to the next part where you yourself are compelled to read some more, because the reader feels the same way.
It is a weird phenomenon, isn't it? When you have a book that you have written and it's been a couple of years since you took a look at it, and then you like thumb through the pages because you're looking for something, and then you find yourself getting sucked into the story. Does that happen to you? I know it happens.
And when you get to, it does. And then when you feel yourself getting sucked out, at that point, cut.
Well, it's already published. It's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. This has been absolutely awesome. Thanks so much for answering everybody's questions. We're all going to be keeping our fingers crossed for you.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. All right. Well, you have a fantastic day. We are about to go into another sprint. We're going to do 15 minutes today. And I have Joe Ninja Hen's fantastic little timer up for us. Hold on just a second. And we're going to go. All right. So who's ready to sprint? That was a terrible transition. I should be
better than mine. It's better than mine. Mine's like, oh, speaking of dinosaurs, let's do some words.
Yeah, exactly. All right, you guys, let's start sprinting in 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Bye, Joe.
Bye. All right, here we go, everybody. Let me get rid of this. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. All right, how'd it go, everybody? We had a bunch of people say lovely, lovely things about our little visit with Joe. Look at that. Thanks, Joe. Break a leg. I sent him a screenshot afterwards while you guys were commenting, and he said that will get me through the entire day. Thank you so much. I had a blast.
Oh, that's good.
I know. He also said he'd come back. I feel like we should rope him into that for a regular word sprint day. So, yay, awesome, fantastic. All right, thank you guys so much for asking all of those amazing questions. Yeah, I think it was really fantastic. So now that we have, I know our first sprint, we're like, oh, 5 minutes, think of a question, ask Joe. But we had an actual sprint just now, 15 whole minutes of writing. So how did everybody do?
So I'm not counting words because right now I'm handwriting, but I'm working on my first draft for the newest Forever Home Friends picture book. So
Yay.
That's going to be fun. What I did was I ran a contest for people to submit stories about their senior elderly dogs, and I'm featuring like 11 different senior dogs in this book to spread some love about older dogs. So I'm writing like a little poem about each dog. So I wrote one little dog poem, and then my mom called. So that was like 10 minutes of it.
Of a 15-minute sprint. Well, that sounds very cool. I sometimes write, if I'm like struggling with like a keyboard, I will often change up whatever I'm writing with. You guys ever do that? Write with paper if you're struggling, or move different keyboards?
I'll re-outline things by hand, yeah, because there's actually a correlation that's proven scientifically that when you write stuff with your hand, it triggers different parts of your brain. So when you're looking at an issue, it helps you see it in a different way. So
yeah, and for this one, especially because I'm doing like 12 different little poems, it's helpful for me to like write it out by hand and then have it in front of me and look at it as I type it up and then try to figure out. I'm gonna try arranging it and then like storyboarding it in a different notebook, because then I gotta like map out the illustrations and everything. So I'm just working on that.
All right. So how about you, Robert? How'd you do today?
Not too bad. I'm going over it and I'm looking for those pieces where it's telling. I'm converting a piece of exposition now where it's very telling and it's a big block of type from inside a character's head. And it's easier, well, it's better to do that if you can pose the questions in a character's head while they're doing something and break it up a little bit so it doesn't seem like a giant chunk.
My theory for that is that it's just like if you want a man to have a conversation with you about something important, ask him in the car, because if he's driving and doing something else, then he can have that then he doesn't feel like a cornered rat. There's a little dating expert help for the day. There you go. First, not now. Stay at your house. All right, everybody. Eva Wright says, "Hey, we went through the whole group. Oh, me. I was just texting with Joe, honestly. I didn't get anything written at all, but I did open my Scrivener document, so there's that. All right. Eva says, hey, how's everybody doing? We're doing great. We're so glad you made it. All right. Steven's here. We just got like a massive group of people come over all at the same time. Steven just came over from Marissa's stream. Fantastic. Thank you, Bonnie. We're so glad you made it. Nihilist Geek, almost 400 words. Nice job. Very nice. Ooh, Sarah too. Sarah got 377. That is absolutely fantastic. He says, natural reader malfunctioned, only half a chapter read. I feel your pain. Ella Rutherford, 254. That's fantastic. Mary got coffee, a snack, and edited a chapter. That feels like a lot, right? You've accomplished a lot today. Not my best, she says. We all have. Like I said, we are now like an hour into the live stream. I have not written anything. I did post a tweet and Facebook because I didn't do that earlier. All right, Nihilist Geek, and I have an answer on what to do when you are stuck in your plot. Blow shit up. Couldn't agree with you more, Nihilist Geek. That is the truth. 200 words for Jennifer. Yay!
Yay!
Joanne Ninja Hen, 330. Some of them were written in the first sprint. I switched back and forth, so I can't count exactly. Still awesome. That's fantastic. Good job. All right. Any progress is good progress. That is the truth.
Yeah.
Very, very true. Maybe there's some sort of thing. This is on my computer, not the online reader. Huh. All right. Well, that's strange. So I feel like I need to go back and find CO Savvy's magical Joe Clifford name for us today. Let me see if I can find it.
It was pretty good. I saw it.
All right. Hold on. Ooh, here it is. Daily Brown, Savvy Detective Clifford Bones Range. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I'll have to send, actually, here. You know what? We're going to just, everybody smile. We're going to do like a picture right here. Hi, Joe
I almost smiled even though I'm an avatar. I was like, I don't need to smile.
That's okay. I'll tell them you were smiling behind the avatar. So,
I was.
yeah. So good. Yeah. So I feel like it was a good little Q&A, even though we normally do more writing, less chatting. Although, you know, sometimes there's a lot of chatting. But I was super excited about this because I was just talking to him yesterday when the news came out, and it made me think about word stock, which I was super, like I spent most of the day yesterday editing. I have like finishing touches I'm doing today and getting ready to post my video. And I know Robert's already went up because I saw it, and which is awesome. So I'm psyched. Let's talk about word stock because woohoo! Is it just me? I like had so much fun with this, but I also I'm so psyched to see all the other videos. So yeah, chat everybody. What do you guys think? I'm super excited about this.
There's quite a few videos that went up before I came on. I was watching a couple of them, as many as I could before I got on, and then I realized I was running late. And
I know we're like, where's Robert? He's never late.
I knew you would show up. I had faith. Robert will be here.
Yeah, I'm all like, you know, we had Joe coming on, and I'm like, you know, and you are always here on time. Well, you and Carol, and Savvy's always running from somewhere else, so we always know.
If I'm late, then something terrible has happened in my part of the world, and you probably will see it on the news, whatever it is.
That's what I was thinking. Well, I don't think Robert's ever been late. So anyway, so I was, yeah, right? Oh, this is funny. I didn't see this till just now. When we did our goofy ass smile for the picture for Joe. Oh, so funny. Oh my God.
I realized I didn't do that, and I'm posting, and then I came in and I realized I didn't have my computer hooked up, and
I feel you. I feel you. I know. I keep going back, trying to finish my edits. And I just could not. I was almost done yesterday. Couldn't get it done. Finally went to bed. I'm like, okay, I'll just do it first thing. And of course, then the live stream and a bunch of other stuff happened. So shortly after this. Okay. So let's talk about, everybody let us know what you're working on today, because that is one thing that we normally do that we did not do today. And that is talk about what are we all working on. So conveniently, Dana has asked, what magnificent project are you working on, Carol? I missed it.
Oh, it's okay. I'm actually working on a new IP right now. I pitched it to my boss last weekend and he approved it. So normally what we do is we actually have series Bibles at work. So that way when we bring the artists on, we basically just kind of send them the page that we need them to work on. So writing when they're doing character concepts and stuff like that. So I'm really just working on that right now.
Cool. Very cool. Savvy, what are you working? Oh, we know what you're working on, right?
Little poems about elderly dogs.
That's so awesome. And Robert, you're still working on your edits, right?
Still editing my manuscript, yes.
How's that going?
It's not going bad. It's still going slow, but that's editing.
It's going editing.
It's going editing. Yeah, I'm not pulling my eyelashes out, so if that's what you're talking about, yeah, that's good. All right, so that is good. Dana says, I'm reorganizing my story. I have been doing some of that as well. CO Savvy says, I know we have a lot going on today. Yes, Joe Clifford was our guest today, which is awesome because he won this. He hasn't won yet. He was nominated for the ITW Thriller Award. That's still huge. When I talked about it yesterday, I was like, that's like as good as a win on any other award because it's such a big deal. Wordstock 2. I feel like we need something like 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 the second movie. We need a tagline. We have the other tagline. We need a number 2.
That's why I posted that explosion with.
And Other Worlds Inc. open for submissions, right?
I haven't turned the form on. Don't y'all go rushing to the website. I have to literally go and click a button. I haven't done it yet.
Okay, it's not happening quite yet.
It's happening today. I just have to go click the button.
Okay.
So calm down.
You want to give a clue for our faithful live streamers?
The clue is when I can get the site admin to change the link on the button. That's the clue.
So we'll be notified right away. Okay. And of course, we have Savy's live stream tonight. Savvy live streams late. It's like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, so if you guys want to do some late night writing tonight, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on my channel, SAVY Writes Books. We will do some fun live streaming. Maybe we'll drink some bourbon tonight. I don't know. We'll see. Right. But we have a couple awesome co-hosts. DAL is going to be there as a co-host. So it'll be fun. And we'll do a lot of writing. So come visit.
Is DAL
busy today?
Yeah, DAL, are you doing yours in an hour from now as well?
Let us know.
Or an hour when we stop, I should say.
Yeah, so so she does hers an hour after we end at 1 Eastern. She starts usually at 2 Eastern. DAL, let us know if you're rolling with the live stream today. And I have links to DAL's channel and obviously to Savy's channel for their live streams later on. In the description is what I was trying to say. All right, hold on. We have comments galore. All right. Nihilist Geek says, Robert, if you're worried about your asking for subs, wait for my video on Saturday. You'll feel just fine. It's one of the, right? It's one of the ickier parts, I think, of being a YouTuber. Subscribe, hit that like button, blah, blah, blah. Everybody hates it, but we all do it. Yeah. All right. Yeah, anyway. LR Rutherford's so jazzed about Wordstock 2. Yay! Me too. I'm so excited. I love it. I love it. Okay. John Ninja Hen says, I'm totally desperate. I have tension and I'm struggling. Last week I nearly quit, but I hope to wing it Friday.
You got this. You got this, Joanne.
You can do it. You've got it. You can do this. We know you can do this. All right. Eva writes, I saw Z Falk's video first. Loved it. Loved it. I'm only 3 in now. Robert, have you gotten that playlist rolling yet?
I'm going to get it rolling right
No pressure, Robert. No pressure. I know you're not doing anything today.
It helps when he has all the links as well, so that way he can add them to the playlist.
It does help. It does help. Try to make Robert's life easier and maybe, yeah. All right. Love the Wordstock concept. Me too, right? I don't know if you know this, but obviously it was Robert's idea and we're all like, genius, except right here on our live stream, Eva Writes Books was the person who came up with the name Wordstock, which we all are like, oh, love that. Love it, love it, love it. Jennifer doesn't know what Wordstock is. Robert, can you explain it?
Wordstock is collecting people from around Authortube, both professional, beginners, get a lot of different opinions, all speaking on a specific topic. And that way it's like all opinions matter. And we're actually finding channels and pulling people out of the YouTube ether and actually hopefully getting the community a little bit tighter. And sync everybody up so we can find our tribe.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things I love about WordStock is your sort of original concept that it was going to be basically an Authortube seminar series.
Yeah.
Like if you go to a seminar, you would hear a variety of different perspectives on a single topic. And I love that. And like last time there were what, 18, 19 videos on how to start a book, right? Yeah. 70. Okay. And then, but then you had so many people that were instantly like, I want to do it. I want to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And so
really fast.
Yeah. And so for this time, when the month went by so fast. So for this month, you decided you were going to break it into two topics that are really connected, suspense and tension. And today is when all the suspense videos launch. And then all the tension videos launch on Sunday. Saturday. Is it Saturday? Did I just say Sunday?
Yeah.
Yes. It's okay. We know that tracking time right now is very hard.
Yeah.
It is. I was so proud of myself because I made it to Carrow's live stream yesterday, which is on a Tuesday.
I was so surprised.
I know, right?
Said the in my comments.
Right? Not only that, on time. Shocking.
Also, guys, I just had at 11, I just had a new video come out on my channel. It's about how my novel releases in 1 month. Just want to let you guys know. So my novel releases 1 month from today, and I'm going to be having a launch party on a YouTube live stream. So check out that video where I talk about organizing launch parties and how I'm going to be doing this one. So make sure to check it out.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. I want to go back in the comments. What? It was Jennifer. Hold on, maybe if I can put. We're getting a lot of chatting today. Here, Jennifer said, "I love that I get to join y'all with these word sprints. I got bummed when my first ever panel was rescheduled due to COVID. So I want to talk about that when we come back from the sprint." Because it's challenging for a lot of authors right now. I have several friends who had books coming out. Obviously, bookstores are not open right now. Do you do an online event? Do you do something else? And speaking of awards, this is book award season. And I have a friend who was the Toastmaster at Left Coast Crime this year. He actually won the award, the Lefty Award. But there were like 6 people there. They ended up having to shut the thing down. Thriller Fest is canceled this year.
Everything is canceled.
Everything is canceled.
Yeah, I'm going to be working on a video for next week called "The Coronavirus Ruined 2020 for My Small Business." So talk about all the things that
I'm very curious to see your analytics, given that YouTube is suppressing all videos on that topic. So you're going to have to let me know how that goes down.
I actually I had done a video about coronavirus scams, about how there were people in multi-level marketing companies trying to take advantage of it and sell their essential oils to cure it or whatever. So I did a video on that, and 4 weeks ago it got demonetized and suppressed, but now they just lifted the demonetization the other day, because all of a sudden they're like, now it's fine to make videos on this as long as they don't have medical misinformation. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm still trying to find ways to not say exactly the word I'm talking about so that it doesn't get demonetized again, but we'll see.
I just want to change the topic because Robert mentioned something in the comments that I think is good to bring up on the screen, which is if anybody wants to participate in the next Woodstock, to let him know. Because I know one thing that we want to do is we want to do a roulette where we bring in different voices all the time instead of adding to them, because watching 60 videos a day isn't always realistic for everyone.
Not for everyone. I think Mike Bracken could pull it off. No, not for everyone. And I think that's such a great idea to have. I mean, it really does help to bring more people into this community, right? To have just sort of this rotating cast of characters talk about these different topics. So I agree. I'm super excited. I'm so pumped about Wordstock. I just all right.
The last one is, I think when you're in it, it's more effective. But when you're thinking about your opinions on a subject and you see everybody else, even if they're talking about the same thing, the way they approach it, you
Right.
get these little nuggets that you didn't think about before. And it
Yeah.
really does expand your horizons. And that, I think, is great, because even newcomers, they come at it with a fresh eye. And sometimes you're practiced and you're in a routine, and then somebody comes up with something and you're like, wow, I never really thought about that.
Right. Well, and sometimes when you hear something, it just makes perfect sense. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that idea that like all these hard-boiled mystery writers are like closet soap opera fans. And yet when he said that, didn't it just go like, of course, like that makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, and actually it must be a thing now that I think about it, because do you guys remember that show Castle that was on with Nathan Fillion about a mystery writer who's
I remember the
far
show.
well?
Watch
Yeah.
it.
I don't think I ever saw that, but I remember it existing.
Okay, so it existed. He's this mystery writer, and one of the things that's sort of funny is his mother is this actress, and she's very dramatic and all that. But he talked about, and I literally just thought of it now. I remember in one of the shows he had like made some joke about spending his childhood watching soap operas, and like that was like the foundation for his writing career. Anyway, all right, you guys, we are going to get rolling with another sprint. It is time to get working. We're all excited. We're all inspired by these word stock videos that we have coming out all day long today, which is going to be super fantastic. And now we are going to sprint and put some of this knowledge our little brains are stuffed with into action today. So, all right, here we go. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. everybody. Here we go. All right. How did everybody do?
I expanded on my page and turned it into a broader scene, which is good.
Nice. Very nice. I'm trying to finish my video, so I was finishing some title cards. So yay on that. All right. Carrow, how about you?
I got distracted because my boss sent me the recorded meeting that he had with the accountant, so I've just been taking notes.
Very exciting. All right. And Savvy still has her mic turned off. Is that my fault? Hold on. Yes. No, she turned it off her own mic. All right. So how did you guys do in the comments? Let us know. All right. This is sort of hilarious. So, you know how we were talking about Castle? Well, apparently this is like not just us, not just me. CO Savvy, Mary Whibley, everybody's like, Castle. Nyla Ski says Castle is amazing.
I haven't seen it yet. True confession.
Me either. I'll have to go look it up and see
Oh,
now.
okay, cool. At least I'm not alone.
It's not just you. So you would probably like it, Robert, especially because he's kind of into a lot of the nerdery that you also love.
Mhm.
So yeah, he's a really, first of all, I love Nathan Fillion. I always have. But Castle is sort of a delightful character. Is it just me, or do you guys also, when I was growing up and even still now, I still love movies and books about writers. Like when you're an aspiring writer, you kind of like to see what you think the life would be like. Now he's like a gazillionaire living in a penthouse in New York. So he had like a poker game where he plays with Patterson and a bunch of other mystery writers. Like it's a very fun, very cool sort of series. There's some very interesting characters, and it's done very well. I love it. So I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm very glad that I'm not the only one. So Dana asked the question, where do you sign up for Wordstock? Robert says, let me know in the comments section of your current Wordstock video on suspense, and he'll put you on the list. So you guys, if you're looking for that, that's the place to go. You should watch it anyway because it's awesome. But yeah. All right, fantastic. Oh, there's more Castle. So I think this is hysterical. Hysterical. All right. So one of the things that Jennifer mentioned, oh good, we've got some word counts. I'm sorry, I'm kind of like going like this. Here we go. Dahl says, coffee does make one cry. I was working on some video scripts, not just Wordstock. Started thinking about stuff and I'm crying. Caffeine, too much caffeine. I'm sorry. I wish I had that because it might make me stop, but it doesn't. And nothing can make me stop drinking caffeine. All right. Nihilist Geek got 403. Nice work. Bonnie got 239. Yes. That's awesome. Mary made it to the end of chapter 85. Editing, that is phenomenal. That's a lot of chapters. Are they little short chapters, or do you have like a 300,000 word book? Inquiring minds. All right. 487 for Sarah. Look at you go. Jennifer, 128. Not as much, but still something. Any progress, any forward progress is progress. And honestly, I feel like I'm way less productive right now than I have been. Robert and I talked about this. Carol, like all of us talked about this a little bit last time, I think, where your brain's sort of just not completely on board right now. You're not, it's not working. I will say though, I know we said we were going to talk about what's happening with Jennifer and what's happening with a number of other writers who have books that are coming out right now, and suddenly all your events are canceled. And I want to, right? It's hard, but I want to give you guys all a little glimmer of hope in all of this. And that is that the New York Times just did a piece about how there are all these different areas of the economy where Americans normally spend our money. Travel and going out to eat and doing all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And they basically show this chart where it's all like, but there are areas of growth right now. And what is booming is ebooks, as in top 5 big growth areas, ebooks, and other types of streaming entertainment, obviously groceries, because I think we all know we're all binging eating carbs right now. But ebooks are going like gangbusters. So there is a silver lining in this cloud, and that is that this is a good time to be selling ebooks.
Yeah, and they're more wallet friendly too, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like traditional publishers have been hiking up the prices for the paperbacks and the hardbacks because obviously those aren't in as demand.
Right.
So when individuals come out with the Kindle, that's a lot more appealing for some people. Now I know that there are the people who are kind of like, I want to feel the pages of the book. I understand that's your thing, but
I like that.
yeah, but it's not lucrative for a lot of people. Like I tried to go to Barnes and Noble. This was like a couple months ago, and I wanted to buy like 2 paperbacks, and I had like a gift card for like $30. I couldn't buy anything because it started at $32. So
it's hardcover
and paperback. I'm going to say that again. Paperback started at $32.
Yeah, that's kind of insane. Hardcovers are also just increasingly expensive. But right now, a lot of people just don't want stuff shipped to their houses, and so ebooks you can get instantly. You can be reading right away. And I will say, like, I belong to a couple little online book club groups, and everybody's just like reading like crazy. So, and burning through books faster. Even people who already burn through books are burning through books faster than usual. So I think that we should all take heart with that, because ebooks are still selling. And honestly, whether you're traditionally published or indie published, most of us make more money on ebooks anyway. So this is good. This is good.
Especially if it's well written and it has a nice cover and you've marketed it well and you have more than one product out there, it's going to sell great. What were you going to say, Robert? I didn't mean to talk over you.
Sorry.
This is actually a time when the indie authors can thrive, because the Courtney Project has a video on this. It was 1 or 2 videos ago, I think, and talking about how when there's a recession, cheap forms of entertainment is what people look for.
Right.
Adding to that, when I used to do the art, I'd listen to a lot of audio, and some of that was like old-time radio. And I had this disc where it had writers and actors interviews from The Shadow. And this was during the Great Depression. And this guy was on there. He wrote pulp novels during the time, and this was one of the worst times in history. And he said writing those pulp novels made him depression-proof because they sold. And he said when he would finish, his publisher would give him another one. But now we have the self-publishing market, and it is the warehouse, and it is cheaper. And this is a time when writers need to really write their asses off, because it's a good time for some writers.
Yeah.
By the way, Lisa, you need to unmute Savvy now.
Oh my God. She's not muted.
She says she's talking.
She's not. I mean, Savvy, I mean, she may be talking, but she's not muted. Savvy, drop out and come back.
For the last 12 minutes.
I had that a couple
I just thought we can't see her, so I figured, but I'm looking at her screen. She's not muted. So I don't know what the deal is. Did she mute herself accidentally?
I have no idea.
Maybe. Okay.
But yeah, no, it is a really good time to kind of write write as much as you can right now, because I mean you have the time to do it. And then one of the things that's going to happen that we're hopefully predicting at work is that when people are going back to work and they have steady income again, they're going to be wanting to buy things that they couldn't buy before. So we're trying to at least where I work, we're trying to get stuff ready for when that happens. And I would really encourage a lot of indie authors to actually do the same, to write what you can, edit what you can. Your freelance editors are going to absolutely love you right now because you're giving them stable income, and they definitely need that right now. Yeah.
I know. There is something to that. This is a really good time to produce. And the beautiful thing about being an indie author right now, or even a traditionally published author with, or a hybrid author, is that you can get those books out faster right now than you could if you were going to be I could finish it this week and it'll be out in a year and a half. You don't have to wait that long if you do it yourself. So there's a huge benefit to that. And I think, and the other, aside from just the fact that it can really, you can be more depression proof, I think, if you're, if you're selling books at a time when people really need them, is that everyone right now, literally the entire world, needs some form of escape. And some people, you know, want that through books, some through films, some through comic books, but you're doing the world a service if you can take somebody out of their own head for a week or an hour or 25 minutes. Goodness. I mean, right?
It's the escapism and the therapeutic value. Because people want to see something being done, even if it's on a vicarious level. So writing kind of stories.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because so like, oh, I have so much to say on that topic. But first, can I answer a question? Can I answer a question that was asked?
Yes. Which question was it? Can I find it?
It's Jennifer on the bottom.
Okay, hold on, Jennifer. Who do you work for, Carrow? Okay, there we go.
Okay, so I'm the operations director over at Otherworld Inc. That is a creative studio where we make comics, books, and games. And so what I do at work is I basically hover over people and ask why they haven't finished things on time, because when they don't finish things on time, that costs my company money. And my boss is a very kind and accommodating individual who will bend over backwards until his head touches the back of his knees to make people happy. And he realized this, and good leaders usually surround themselves with people that can do things that they can't. So he hired me to come and organize things and get in people's faces.
And there's really no one better for that job. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I can nicely word it, or I can bluntly word it. It really depends. Yeah, and sometimes I have to have like talks with my boss about like, hey, I know you really like that artist, but you need to phase him out because he's trying to milk you for more money and his art quality is just not holding up to the price that he's demanding. So it's just stuff like that I do.
Right.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, I'm back. Oh my God. Okay. Guys, I've been saying things for like the past 10 minutes and no one has heard me. So here's what I've said. Going back to what we were all working on at the end of the sprint, I was trying to update that I wrote 2 more little poems about dogs, but one of them I had to write a poem and the dog unfortunately has died. So I had to include that because it's partially about like her goodbye party, and that was making me really sad. And then I moved on to another dog. And I wrote, Sheldon is 9. Some say he's a curmudgeon. Don't let his size fool you. His barks can bludgeon. So that's as far as I got. And then the other thing I was going to say is that if you're looking for a cheap ebook, my ebook is on pre-order for $3.99 right now on Amazon. So you can check that out.
There you go. Sarah,
I'm glad that I don't know what was up with my microphone, but I was just gone. So at first I thought everyone was just like ignoring me. I thought that maybe like I wasn't being very interesting or something.
No, of course not. No. Like Violet Speak says, I remember 10 years ago when I bought 2 paperbacks on 10 pounds at Borders.
Right?
Right?
Yeah. Like
hardcovers were $9.99.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. Is paperbacks should be like $10 to $15. I can't believe people are trying to sell paperbacks for like $30. I guess when I said that too, nobody heard me. But
yeah, no, we didn't see it.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
It is. Part of it's the cost of paper. A lot of books are now printed in China, and so they're, I know, yeah. Okay, so anyway, so it's expensive. I mean, part of that is the paper costs go up, but honestly, I think it costs about $6 to produce a hardcover. So they probably don't need to be $30. The one thing though about traditional book selling is that you have a lot of fingers in the pot. So you have the publisher, you obviously have the author, you have the distributor like Ingram, you have the bookseller, and there are such tight margins because 587 people have to make money on each book. And obviously and that's also why authors make such crappy royalties, because they're not the only ones. Right. Yeah. Indie publishing looking pretty good. All right. So L.R. Rutherford, it'll be interesting to see how many bookstores survive after this COVID-19. So the bookstore owners that I have spoken with since this all started happening, obviously they're all shut down, and a lot of them have had to furlough staff, which is a heartbreak. But many of them are really busy shipping out book orders that people have sort of transferred that, the normal weekly trip to like Barnes & Noble or your local indie, and now they're ordering those books online. And what you said earlier, Carol, about some people just really, really love a good, you know, hardcover or paperback. I'm
not shunning you.
No,
Background.
oh, you should see. You should see our house. I never met a book I didn't like. Honestly, I love this. I have no idea what you're saying yes to, Heather, but I'm glad you agree with me, no matter what it was. So, oh my gosh! All right, you guys, what do we have? 12:55. I feel like we have time. Do you guys want to do one more 15-minute sprint, or do we just want to gab away the last 5 minutes?
You should gab, because in an hour Dal has to go live too.
Oh, all right, we'll do that.
And
So
you always say that you don't finish on time. I'm here to remind you that you have the opportunity.
Carol,
we can do outros and you'll finish on time, and I'll put it in my calendar because it'll probably be the only time this year that will happen.
Oh my God, that's right. We could totally do that today. Okay, well, before we go, the first thing I want to say is be sure, you guys, to go out and watch all these incredible videos today on suspense and on Saturday for tension. I don't know why I thought it was Sunday. We posted last month on Saturday too. I don't know what the heck I was thinking. I have it on my schedule on Friday, like post. So hopefully I get it on time. We'll see. I think we all know me. Anyway, so be sure to do that. If this is something that you're interested in participating in and you're not already on Robert's massive list of people who want to participate, then be sure to let him know in the comments of his video. I'm going to be posting mine later today. Carol, did yours go up yet?
No, I was waiting till later this evening.
Okay. Mine's going up. Carol's going up. And Savvy, you're doing Saturday?
I'm doing a video on Saturday. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so suspense today, tension on Saturday. They're all going to be awesome, and Robert will be working on that playlist. I'm sure you could spend like the whole deal. DAL CECIL RUNO says Carol is the time boss. That is the truest statement we will ever hear in our lives.
And
yeah, exactly. So this is a fantastic time to say thank you to all of you guys to show up and be here every week with us. We love you guys. Carrow, tell us all about your awesome channel.
Oh, thank you. My name is Carrow Brown. I talk and whine about the life of a writer, sometimes under the influence of wine. I've got junk book reviews, writing advice, and life of writer stuff on there for your viewing pleasure. I also have a book that's out right now called Queen of Swords and Silence, if you were interested in that. Under Faye Black, I do have a short story romance, if you are also interested in that. You can pretty much Google those things and find them right away. So that's me.
Awesome. All right. Savvy, tell us about your awesome channel.
So my channel is called SAVY Writes Books. On my channel, I like to do videos about books, writing, and the life of a small business owner, and often that includes doing video essays and exposés exposing business guru scammers, people selling fake courses, people trying to rope you into a pyramid scheme, all of those kind of things. So if you like that kind of drama, you'll enjoy that on my channel. I actually have a huge video essay going up on Friday that's going to be premiering at 11 a.m. Central about Rachel Hollis and how she used to be an indie author, much like many of us, and is now a motivational guru scamming people. So we're going to take a look at that career trajectory and how to make sure we don't fall prey to the same things. So we're going to be doing that. Other than that, yeah, I talk about my life as a small business owner and do like writing tips and book reviews. And now every Wednesday night, I also do a late night writing sprint stream. So if you want to write later tonight, come join my stream.
Yay! All right, and a little suspense for you. See who Savvy's going to be taking down next. All right. Oh. Okay. That's actually, all right. So, Robert, tell us all about your awesome channel, please.
Well, my channel is The Story Detective. Careful with the spelling. And I analyze everything story-oriented. Also give writing advice, but I talk about books, movies, various forms of storytelling. I do tech reviews, and currently I'm looking for people for the next word stock. So that's another project, and already thinking about the next one. So definitely interested, let me know in the comment section of my latest video, and I will start compiling a list.
Awesome. I'm Lisa Daly. This is my channel with the long and awkward name. I'm a traditionally published author of 8 books. And if you are someone who wants to write a book and get it published, this is the channel for you. So I hope you'll subscribe and see what we have coming. My my video on suspense is coming later today. Carol's is coming later today. Robert's is already up, and Savy's on tension is going to be up on Saturday. So thanks so much for coming, everybody. You guys have an awesome day. We love you. Stay safe, and we will see you next Wednesday. Bye, everybody. It's 1 o'clock. I made it.
Yay!